I welcome you online to our service and welcome you to this moment in time. And each and every moment is unique and I believe special. Special because we bring ourselves fully present to those moments. This is the first Sunday of 2026. Well, and when you realize that, right, it's like, yeah, take a moment and acknowledge that. This is the first Sunday of 2026. And how we do everything in this moment can and might determine what our 2026 is like. So let's not waste this opportunity, right, to reset, to create our intentions, and to move forward. So my name is Reverend Ken Daigle. I am the senior minister here. I've been with this community for 13 years now. And that's just a reminder that when we set our intentions to something and what we create manifests in the world. So I want to talk about what's going on in the world and in our hemisphere right now. So I woke up yesterday to the news and to my Facebook page and to all of the social media and the blasts that come across our phones. And my first reaction was upset and horror, and then my next reaction was, I'm going to tune it out. I'm going to let it go. I can't do anything. I'm powerless. And I was like, isn't that an interesting affirmation, Reverend Ken? I am powerless. It's like, no, I'm not. And we're not. So I want to speak some just really clear, plain facts before we begin today's service. Yesterday, in a military operation authorized by agencies and by people in our government, 40 people, at least 40 people in Venezuela were killed, murdered, in order to accomplish some goal that our nation has, and in our name. And I will not stand here and pretend that's okay with me. It is not. It is not. And at the same time, this past year, we also let a convicted drug cartel leader off with a pardon. So the inconsistency in how we're applying and why we're applying the use of violence and force and weapons of mass destruction is indiscriminate. And it is against spiritual principles. We stand here every week and we affirm that we're all made in the image and the likeness of God. We are all divine expressions, and that we have intrinsically within us everything that is good and God. And that just doesn't mean us. It means every human being on the planet. And the people of Venezuela have just as much right to determine who leads them as we have the right to determine who leads us here. And that gets me to a whole other conversation, and it's not about politics. I want to be really clear. It's about agency and our inherent power and how we give it away. In the last election, barely over 50% of those eligible to vote in this country voted. And I know there are people in this room who didn't vote. There are people online watching me who didn't vote because they are just as discouraged and disheartened as some days I am. But that's the goal. That's the goal of people who want to hold on to power or amass more power. And when we freely and completely give up our agency to speak out, to speak up, and to elect the people who represent our values, that's when we all lose. That's when the conversation even ceases and things are done in our name and take away our power. I have said it before, on that window is partly dedicated to a congregant's parents who were interned. They were residents of San Francisco and interned in World War II, during World War II, because of their race. Think about that. Think about that. And that's what's going on in our name, whether it be how we're treating trans people right now, how we're subjugating another nation in our hemisphere, how we're attacking supposed drug runners on boats and blowing them up and killing them without any due process. Those are all the things that are being done right now. And it breaks my heart. Archimedes, 2,000 years ago, over 2,000 years ago, said, give me a lever, a long enough lever, and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. Well, that's what we can do today. If we take a stand for what we will not allow in our name, if we take a stand for what is important to us, the value of all human life, the value of peace and love and understanding, and a community that builds consensus about what is best, what is right, and what is good in the world, what is fair, what is most important. And it starts with us. When we start attacking other people as bad, evil, and wrong, we are playing the same game of us and them. I stand and I refuse to condemn anyone as not worthy of love, not worthy of God's compassion, grace, and forgiveness. Each and every one of us are. And I stand here, a flawed human, but I know that I am whole and perfect in spirit and in God. Whole and perfect in my making and in truth. Now, that doesn't mean I don't need to apologize. I frequently do. And what I would love and what I want to stand for is this kind of dialogue and this kind of introspection in all of our affairs, our government affairs, our personal affairs, our business affairs, our community affairs. And it started with the Greeks and the idea of democracy thousands and thousands of years ago. But it pre-existed that too. Tribal and indigenous people had systems like that. We delude ourselves when we think we're special in the Western world for doing it alone. Right? And it started thousands of years ago in Palestine, in Israel, in what's called the Holy Land. And we watch the atrocities of the Holy Land right now. We watch the atrocities in Ukraine, and now we watch the atrocities in Venezuela. Now, I don't know all the facts. I don't pretend to know all the facts. But I do know that people dying deserves my attention, and people being killed in my name demands my attention and focus. So I welcome the dialogue. I welcome the conversation. I welcome the conversation to my family at home who have different political views than I do. I welcome the conversation with us who have vast differences of opinion as well. And I welcome the conversation on a nationwide and global stance. And I welcome the conversation in love, in understanding, in our own intrinsic right to take a stand, to have our voices be heard, and to make a difference in the world.